Now, there's another term, I don't think it was used in your, when you started, it was close to 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Post-traumatic stress disorder. Was that used back then, or what do you think of this new term nowadays?
Well, like I said, it's, as I explained to you earlier, when I left Guyana when I was very young, moved from a very rural area to London, which is a very, world-class metropolitan area, and it felt strange, but I didn't know about culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
But you're just saying, okay, this is strange, you have to get used to it. There was no label to it. So now once you label it, then you go, oh. So it's the same with traumatic stress disorder, is that because it's been labeled, your body's now reacting to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so whereas before, you'd see something, and it's horrific, but 10 minutes later you're out on another call. And it still affects you, but the effects is now more amplified because there's now a label for it. So you know, okay, this should be affecting me. And because it does, it's actually, it is good that it's recognized.
Yes.
And I know a lot of medics, they basically died of alcoholism. And one is because they were expected to function day after day without a thought of what they saw, what they did, and they weren't able to compartmentalize what they saw and what they did into the appropriate area.
Okay.
So they took it on personally. And so for us, that's not what we need to do. So, but now it's like I said, it's good that it's being recognized. But I think the biggest fear among the government agencies is there's a small percent of the population who will use that not to work.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest stumbling block in actually recognizing it.
All right. What advice would you give to the people that want to get involved in this profession, if any?
It is a very dangerous job. It is also very rewarding. And unfortunately, if you're achievement oriented, it is not the job for you, because you will become easily frustrated. And because it's that there's no, I've done this, so this will happen. It's like you may save someone's life today and see him jaywalking tomorrow. And unfortunately, it's like when I first came on, it was just people doing stupid things to themselves. And so I actually, even up until I retired, I was actually pleasantly surprised quite a few times when you think you've seen everything a person can do to themselves, someone will come totally out of the blue and surprise the hell out of you. And I would thank them, say, wow, I have not seen that before. Thank you for entertaining me. Now what can I do to help you?
That is some very good advice. And how do you see EMS in the future, or what would you like to see some changes?
EMS totally in the future is one, motorized. So medics should not be lifting.
The physical fitness component with a lot of law enforcement and fire departments where they have time to keep in shape.
Time to keep in shape, or even
prevention.
Here's the other thing. Whenever a call comes through, you have that adrenaline release.
Yes.
And you actually use up all your glycogen stores. Eventually, your body will crash because, and what they recommend is that you sleep. You have like a 20-minute nap to regenerate. We used to be able to get that time to regenerate after each call. We don't get that anymore.
So, that's very good insight. Brian, you provided some excellent insight.
Actually, I'm only reading from the cue cards you gave me, Paul. So this is all you, it's not at me.
Okay. Actually, I'm certainly going to miss you. Anyways.
I'll be honest with you, like I said, from the first time I worked with you as a young medic, like you were looking at me, I can tell, you know what? I think he's attracted to me. And I'm grateful. I know you were, but I'm grateful for not making it awkward. And I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So, thanks for not making it awkward, Paul.
Thank you. Brian, this is great. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to really enjoy the honesty. And now they're going to certainly get some insight of what it really is being a paramedic. And do you think people could now survive 30 years as they used to?
They can if the service is managed. One, if the management now says, my job is to protect my people. So for instance, a plane, say an ambulance crashes, right? And two medics die. All top brass will go out and go, like do the support, with all their medals. And it's like, you see like some of these top brass with like a ton of medals. I'm going like, what have you done to get all these medals? Is there one for smiling? Or is there one for stabbing your workers in the back so you can get ahead? But if the fact of the matter is, you can say, you know what, my job is here to look after my people, and give them the equipment to do the job. Give them the equipment and the manpower to do the job. Yes, you can survive. You have motorized everything. You have equipment that can pick someone off the ground, put them on the stretcher. Everything is motorized. So you are going to have other repetitive injuries. And like I say, in any system, no matter what you do, certain amount of people will scam. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, EMS works because the majority of people they're hardworking people and they care about what they do. Like for someone like myself, sometimes I would go for weeks, months without seeing a supervisor. I'm not doing my job because you're coercing me. I'm doing my job because I'm generally a decent individual, and for every EMS service, because you're basically working on your own. So there's no supervisor or anyone to make sure you do your job. So in fact, we're doing the EMS system in most places work despite management.
And that's the beauty of EMS, is the autonomy and being independent. I would like to add, possibly you could talk. You did mention about how rough it is, or how dangerous it is, but you have to think on your feet. You're very individual.
Well, for instance, you go to a call, you have to have 10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
So after you've done the call for a while, within 10 seconds you can look at someone and go, you have got a rough idea of what's going on. Mm-hmm. And so from there you're basically plotting from start to finish what is going on. Whereas if you did a call according to management, first you'd have a meeting about the call, even before you do the call, and then you'll decide on a course of action, and then you'll actually study other courses of action that has been done before, and then you go actually do the call, then you come back and you have a huge debriefing. So if you management style call, each call will take 2 days.
So that just reinforces you are basically on your own, but you have to work with your partner, but you're coming two very individual people, thinking on their feet, but acting as a team.
And I think the worst part of medics is that they believe, whereas with the police or the fire, you're not on your own. You have a huge organization to support you. Whereas with EMS, it's that, for the most part I've seen, you're basically on your own because they're willing to dump blame very quickly. It's a great job, but the thing is, the people who are there to protect you have to do theirs.
Okay. Brian, thank you very much. It's been an honor. Actually, enjoy your retirement. And what plans do you have for your retirement, if any, would you like to share?
I'm glad you asked that, Paul. I'm very glad you asked.
Okay.
Right now, I'm actually I'm a budding filmmaker.
Yes.
So I've actually signed contract. I'm going to produce elderly porn for the Japanese market.
Wow.
Yeah. So what that entails now is that I know what you're thinking. Well, you have elderly people making out. What about the erection? But there's prosthetics, Paul, and it looks very lifelike. And you're also saying, well, a lot of people will have hip problems. But if you read the Kama Sutra, there are so many positions, so you can now accommodate for all these medical ailments. So I'm hoping to have my first one out very soon.
Okay.
It's called Gaijin Heat.
Okay.
Please look out for that.
Thank you very much, and
Okay.
hopefully we're looking forward to seeing that. And
I won't be starring in any, but and that's I'll be approaching a lot of retired medics see if they want to take part.
Okay.
Because it's also educational, and we also want to educate. Because the world will be made up of seniors. Why shouldn't they see themselves on screen screwing?
again, thank you very much, Brian, for a wonderful interview, and I'm looking forward to
any of this. I'm going to hurt you, Paul.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Brian.